My name is Erin. I live in a tiny house that I built myself. I grow about 50% of my own food and I homeschool my kids, 11-year-old Bethany and 8-year-old Abby. We've been living in this tiny house for almost 3 years in Ontario, Canada. Living in a tiny house was kind of a necessity for me, if I'm honest with you. I needed a place to live. When I needed to leave my marriage, it was a real sort of challenge to figure out how I could possibly have a decent standard of living and still homeschool my kids, despite not having money. Because I am very poor, but we have a beautiful life. We have an abundance of food. We have an abundance of time together as a family, and that is what the tiny house offers me. So yeah, I built it myself. I had almost no building experience prior to this. I first started off with sketching. Then I used the software called SketchUp, and in that, I designed every single piece of this house. So the floors took 3 weeks, and I framed out the walls in about 2 weeks, and then I had a big building party where a whole bunch of people came and helped me raise the walls and raise the ridge beam. And then I spent the next few weeks getting the siding on and getting the roof rafters on. So it took me about 4 months to build the whole thing to a point where I could live in it. But there were no interior walls, there was no kitchen countertops, there were no shelves, there were no lofts. All of that was built while we were living inside, and that probably took about another 2 months. I definitely had people come in and help me along the way with some of those more complicated things that you only learn through experience. I salvaged and repurposed as much as I possibly could because I'm trying to save money. The entire project so far cost me probably about $40,000 Canadian. The trailer itself was, I think, $12,000. The solar panels were about another $10,000. The wood stove and the chimney, I think, was about $5,000. And then everything else was lumber, building materials, and so on and so forth. My tiny house is 28 feet long, 8 feet wide, and 13 feet tall. The tiny house is on wheels, thankfully, because I ended up having to leave the farm where I was at and build a new garden and build new chicken coops and start everything from scratch. And so the house has really just been on pause for the last 2.5 years. I haven't done any work on the house at all. Until now. I'm now gearing up to do more renovations to finish it. The nice thing about taking this 2.5 year break is that I've gotten a chance to find out what works, what doesn't work, and what do I want to change, and what do I not care about as much as I thought I would. So we use the back door because the front door doesn't have stairs yet. So come on in. So when you come in, I've got a coat rack here. In the summer, it's got lots of space on it. In the winter, it's bursting out to here with coats. There's never enough space. Under the stairs here in this winter is where I store wood. In these spaces down here is where we store shoes and boots and things. There's a good space underneath there for that sort of thing. The couch has storage in it, both in the seats, there's storage, and behind the seats, there's more storage. So for instance, this table breaks down and goes back there when I'm not using it. We've got lots of space for books and more books because I'm a bit of a reader. Here is my power pack for my solar system that hasn't been set up yet, and my breaker panel as well. These stairs lead up into my loft that I share with my 8-year-old. And this is my wood stove. Her name is Ruby. She's built for a house of 5,000 square feet, and my house isn't even 500 square feet, so she does a really good job of keeping us warm in here. We cook our food on this, we heat our water on this, we dry our laundry with this. This heats the house, so it's a multi-purpose appliance. When we do need to dry laundry in the house, I have up on the ceiling, I have these drying racks where we can hang all the things that we need to dry. The kitchen is very small, but it does basically everything we need. We've got a toaster oven, a toaster, and an induction burner. And we mostly use those for cooking in the summer because it's just way too hot to use the wood stove in the summer. My table and chairs, everything folds down so that we have more space when we're not using them, and then we pull them out whenever we need them. Got lots of storage space for all my pantry items. And then under the floor here, there's more storage space down here. So for instance, I've got lots of newspapers down here for starting fires. There's some vegetables stored underneath here. Built into the kitchen cupboards is the stairs up to my children's bedroom. So it's hard to find. It almost makes it seem like a secret fort, and the children love that. And then at the end here we have the bathroom. The bathroom has 2 bucket toilets, one for number 1 and one for number 2. And I empty those buckets into a special compost in the back. And we use wood shavings to hide the odor, which works quite well, actually. Built into this stair is a little door, and I pull it out. There's kitty litter in here, and she can get in and out of it there's an opening on the bathroom side. These doors here, hopefully at some point there will be a big deck out here and some stairs so that we can actually use these doors. So currently my house is parked in the back corner of my boyfriend's 2-acre property. Originally I was on a 15-acre permaculture farm, but that kind of fell apart. Trying to find a place to park a tiny house is probably one of the most difficult parts about it. It's not strictly legal. People worry about insurance. People worry about being reported to the authorities. We don't have a problem with it here. All of our neighbors know, everybody's okay with it. And I'm not breaking the law because I only live here part-time. My kids go to stay at their dad's house, and then I go and stay at my boyfriend's house. The electricity for my house comes through 200 feet of extension cords, but ultimately there will be solar power. I have the whole system, but I don't know how to do electrical work. It would be really nice for my ceiling fan to work. It would be really nice to have a fridge. Those are the 2 things that I wish I had. The heat all comes from the wood stove. I harvest my own wood from a nearby bush. Water I get from the taps in my boyfriend's house. I lug jugs back and forth every couple of days. And eventually I would like to build a water collection system and store water in some big IBC totes. But that isn't really a huge priority for me. I shower in his house. I do laundry in his house. It's really not that much of a hassle, and I can live without running water. I grow most of my own vegetables. So I have 2 very large gardens. We also raise chickens and ducks for eggs and for meat. We raise rabbits for meat and for fur. And this year for the first time we have turkeys. I sell the surplus at the local farmers market and through just connections that I have made. And that helps to cover the expenses of growing my own food. This is working out really nicely for me here. My boyfriend has welcomed me to build multiple gardens and to build coops, and I've sort of taken over his property a little bit. But in exchange, I feed him, and it's worth it for him to have me here feeding him good, homegrown, home-cooked meals that he wouldn't have been able to have otherwise. So that is how I pay rent. I pay my rent in food. So my income comes from, I have a part-time job working for another farmer, a market gardener, when the kids are at their father's, and I have child support, and I have a YouTube channel, and that brings in a little bit of cash. So my YouTube channel, I filmed the entire process of building the house, and I talk a lot about living in a tiny house. I talk a lot about growing my own food, and I talk a lot about homeschooling my kids. We do something called unschooling, which means that we have no curriculum that we follow. The way I sort of explain unschooling is, you know how kids ask about 10 million questions a day, and usually we don't have time to answer them? Unschooling is we make time to answer their questions. The other thing about unschooling, in my opinion, is it's really very much about having passions and teaching yourself how to do the thing that you're really excited about. And so our days just look different all the time. Every day is a surprise, and we never know what we're going to get. I really like living in a small space. And I find in a tiny space, I really make sure that I only have the things that I actually really need, and it keeps my life simple. My anxiety is a lot less when I have a simple life and I only have the things that I really need. And then I also love that it's really aligned with my ideals of trying to be sustainable, trying to be environmentally conscious, trying to reduce my footprint, and I really feel like living in this house does all of those things for me. But it is hard to live in here. Right now, the biggest challenge is it's just hot in here. And maybe if I had a better electrical setup and I could have an air conditioner, boom, problem solved. Even if the fan worked, that might help. But again, that's entirely a reflection of my own lack of building experience and my economic situation. I can see myself living in this house for the rest of my life. There's just something so fulfilling about living in something that I created myself and that was designed for me. It's not beautiful, it's not immaculate, it's messy, it's chaotic, there's never enough storage space, it's imperfect, and it's perfect.
Subscribe to Exploring Alternatives and check out our Tiny House Stories playlist for more videos like this. You can also follow Erin on her YouTube channel at This Beautiful Life. Thanks for watching.